Hello, my name is Lisa Hale, and I am the sixth grade ELA teacher. I am also the golf and tennis coach for SBMS. Welcome to a virtual Meet the Teacher Night. I'm going to spend some time going through a few details and expectations, and if you have any questions, I'll show you how to contact me for more information. Let's start back here. Okay, so I would like to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Belton. We lived a short time away and then we came back as soon as possible. I went to Miller Heights Elementary School, Belton Junior High, Belton High School, UMHB, class of 89, and I've been married for over 30 years to my high school sweetheart. We have 4 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, 2 grandsons, and another baby due in October. This is my 27th year in education. We've really been going over why reading is so important and all the different genres that the students will have a chance to read this year. I think it's very important that we spend time every day in reading. So it will help our vocabulary, it will help our writing, it will expose us to all sorts of new information that we will be able to talk about in class. And so I think it's very important that we do spend some time in reading every day and responding and writing to that reading. This is a link that you may be interested in, and it explains how reading affects our lives and why reading is so important. So if you have a chance, check on the link and see what it has to say. I think you'll be impressed. We have a book challenge in my class, and the students have already been told about it, and they're all started their challenge already. But if you're an on-level class, you're expected to read 15 books a year. If you're in an advanced class, at least 20. I know that a lot of students will read more than that. We will read a lot in class. So I think that, here's Lucy. Hi, Lucy. I think that 15 or 30 will not be that much. And as you can tell from the slide, I will count books a little differently. So if a student is reading a longer book, they'll get more credit. If they're reading a graphic novel, which is perfectly fine, I have no problem. But if it is a short graphic novel in words and mostly pictures, it may be counted as less than 1 full book. I also believe that our brain is engaged as much as reading printed word as listening to audiobooks, so they will count for a book. And if a book is harder, in another language, maybe a tougher read because it's outside of your reading zone, or you're just pushing yourself into something new, just come see me and maybe we can talk about having that book count for more as well. All right, let's see here. Okay, so in writing, of course, the more you read, the better writer you will be, because you will see so much more vocabulary and sentence structure. So it really is important that we do both. We're going to be doing all sorts of writing this year, from Google Documents, PowerPoints, projects, responses in and out of our notebooks. So it's very important that the students come prepared to write every day. So, you know, have their supplies, their Chromebooks. The journals typically stay in my classroom, so we have them each day, writing utensils, those sorts of things. Okay, getting in touch with me. Most of you have signed up for the Remind app. If you haven't, it is an app. Just simply Google it and download the Remind app to your phone, probably. And then you can just text the class code to 81010. There is also a computer version if you don't want to use your phone. These are the codes that you can use to sign up for that specific class. So I have tennis in the mornings in first period, and then second period, fourth period, fifth period, and eighth period, and then golf is after school. Third period is my conference time. So if you would like a chance to visit with me or we need to discuss anything, please feel free to contact me. My email is here, my classroom phone number is here, and then you can send a remind as well. I also use a Google Voice app to text students and text parents mostly about upcoming things, so that you'll know when important dates, maybe tests or projects are due. For the students, their responsibility is, of course, to come prepared for class. Materials like your reading book, pens and pencils, a willingness to try is the most important, no matter what we're doing. I think sometimes the kids think we're a little crazy in ELA, but it's important to come with a willing attitude. When you enter the classroom, they're going to put up their journal if they have it, or they're going to get their journal, and then your book, your pencil, your Chromebook, everything will be on the desk, and then your backpack out of the way for everyone to move around the room, because we do have quite a few students in each class. We do have them distanced as much as possible, and most of the students are starting to wear their mask as our numbers increase, and I also wear my mask in class unless I am standing behind a desk or away from the students. So grading policy in middle school is quite different than elementary. There are major and minor grades, and so there is some time that it takes for sixth graders to really adjust to that. So we will try to post grades weekly. There were very few grades posted early this year, simply because we were still in the middle of teaching. But this last week, we were able to catch up with quite a few grades. If they are absent, make sure they ask us. I have a place hanging in my room for missing work, or when you're not there, where to go to get that missing work. So as we have students coming and going for various reasons, just remind them that if they see something missing in Skyward, that it's probably in that slot on the wall, but they can always just ask me and I'll help them find it. If you're going to be absent ahead of time, if you know something's coming up, just have your student let me know so we can plan ahead of that or behind that, depending on what's going on that week in class. As far as our basic rules and expectations, let me hang on just a second. Sorry about that. So rules and expectations in my classroom are very simple. It's really just look at the posted rules, the posted expectations, make sure you're treating others like you would like to be treated. They need to be sure that they are listening, paying attention, following directions, just like they would be expected to do at your house. Consequences could just be a verbal warning, maybe a parent contact. We do have a lunch detention. And if it gets to the need where someone's safety is in jeopardy, or I simply cannot continue to teach in the classroom because of disruptions, then an office referral will be written. Phones, we do use a lot of electronics at school, but phones are one of those things that we can only use when a teacher asks you to, simply because they're so distracting. And if they're distracting too much, you're not going to be able to pay attention to what's going on, and you might miss an important date or something that might be covered on an assignment. So typically we want them on silent. I think the school handbook actually says off, but at least on silent or off. If the first time they get caught with a phone or using a phone and not being able to pay attention, it will stay on my desk until the end of the period, and they may take it. Second offense, then we start to turn them into the office, and then you will have to come and pick that up from the office so that we can just remind you and your student about how important it is. On a side note, having 4 boys that are now all over 20, that was probably the best use of a consequence that I had as a parent. So they love their phones, they love their connection to their friends. So I have no problem with that. Just needs to not be during class time. So. Let's see. Okay, food and drink policy. We really aren't supposed to have food or drinks allowed in the class. We do let them have water bottles if it has a lid. Gum should not be permitted in the building because of our science labs and our furniture, and taking care of the school building within itself and making it a little bit easier on our janitors and custodians when it's not disposed of properly. And I believe that's it. If there is something that you still have questions about, or if you have any questions about why Lucy can't stay out of the video, just feel free to call me, text me through Google Text. If I have sent you something, send remind. You can remind text as well, emails, however, and we will get in touch and we will discuss and talk about any issues. Please continue to stay healthy and safe, and we will see you hopefully in person at conferences and games and events here at SBMS throughout the school year. Thank you.